Hey guys, what's up? MasterFiggy here, and today I'm going to show you my Doctor Who classic collection. I was going to do this when I watched all of them, but yeah, I just haven't gotten around to watching all of them. I have watched a large majority of the stories in my collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each of the DVDs that I have, and then at the end I'm going to show you some of the box sets. Also, I just want to say that my apologies for not really doing much videos. I was planning to do a lot of Doctor Who themed videos, and I was going to do some other stuff with like anime and games and Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Bleach, One Piece, so on and so forth, but I just haven't gotten around to do it. Also, I got an email today from YouTube saying that they are actually going to stop giving me the privilege of monetizing my videos by the 20th of February if I haven't gotten 1,000 subscribers. So I really would appreciate if people would subscribe, and I'm going to try my absolute best now to put up more and more videos. Hopefully it'll encourage more people to subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I can get some sort of income while I'm looking for a job, because it is difficult looking for a job and nothing's really happening, unfortunately. So I like to have YouTube not as like a way of living, but just something to fall back on, just like some extra bits and pieces. And with that said, I'm just going to get started. First off, we have Spearhead from space. And just to let you guys know, I am showing these stories in order, so I don't have any of the first or second Doctor yet. But Spearhead from Space is the very first story from season 7, known as the best Doctor Who series from the classic era. Very good. First 70s story, first colour story, first John Pertwee, first Liz Shaw, first John. Oh no, John Levine wasn't Benton yet. But it's a very good story. One of the very first ones that I ever watched. Next up, we have Doctor Who and the Silurians, the very first Silurian story, and the second story of season 7. I've all of season 7, just so you guys know. And this is an okay story. I was slightly disappointed because a lot of people like absolutely love it. I was just disappointed by the pacing of it. I thought it dragged on just a little bit too much. But the whole idea of the Silurians and the humans, about how similar they are in the way that they both want to wipe each other out, but some want to live in peace together. I thought that was very good. Next off, we have Ambassadors of Death. This is a fantastic story, I think. Again, the pacing, I think, for some people, it might get a little slow. For me personally, I thought it was pretty good. I feel as if this is an underrated story. Yeah, I personally think it's one of the better John Pertwee stories. Next up, we have Inferno, the last story in season 7, and what seems to be everyone's absolute favourite, really, or majority's absolute favourite of at least Pertwee, if not classic Who. And, I'll be honest, I heard everyone say it was great, and I went in like not thinking much because I didn't want to get my hopes up. And even with the idea that everyone loves it and I expected something really great, I still ended up really enjoying the story, and it is really good. I love how Nicholas Courtney plays two roles in it. Well, technically two roles, but one is just like an alternate version of another character, but it's still very well done. It's a shame really that Liz Shaw, this is her last story, but she didn't get like a proper send-off, which is a shame. But I do love the final scene in the final episode with the Brigadier and the Doctor. This is a great story. Terror of the Autons. This is the very first Master story, and it's the last appearance of the Autons in Classic Who. Next up, we have The Mind of Evil. This is a story that I didn't have too much high hopes for, but it really did surprise me. It's something that I absolutely love in Doctor Who, or in stories in general, but it worked really well here in Doctor Who, and I love the whole idea with the prison and the machine. It is very well done. Next up, we have The Claws of Axos. I think this story is okay. It's nothing spectacular really, but it wasn't bad. Next up we have Colony in Space. Have not watched it yet. Next up, The Daemons. I have not watched this either. Next up we have Day of the Daleks. I think this is okay. I know some people really dislike it, and I know some people think that the Daleks shouldn't really be in the story because they're not really needed, and I do see that. But it's not a horrible story. I think for a four-parter, it drags on a little bit, I think. Next up, The Sea Devils. I have not watched this either. Next up, The Green Death. I haven't watched this yet either. Next up, The Time Warrior. I have not watched this either, but for some of you who are interested, this is the first Sontaran story and the very first Sarah Jane story. Next up we have Invasion of the Dinosaurs. I think this is a very good six-parter story. I think a lot of people don't really bother with it because of the sort of giant monsters in it, and Doctor Who isn't best known for its giant creatures, and the dinosaurs in it aren't great, but the story itself is great. I love it, and it doesn't feel like a six-parter. It felt like a four-parter, which is good because it doesn't feel like it drags on. I probably felt it was just a little bit short, but I did like the idea that like all of London is under military control. Invasion of the Dinosaurs is a very good story, and the last Pertwee story I have in my collection. So next up we have Tom Baker's era, and we have The Ark in Space, and I have not watched this yet. Next up I have The Sontaran Experiment. Haven't watched this yet either. Next up we have Genesis of the Daleks, voted #1 best Doctor Who story. I think it is a very good story, and I really like the interactions between Davros and the Doctor. This is also the first time we see Davros, and what I really like is that whole moment with Davros and the Doctor are talking together, and also everyone knows the scene with Tom Baker and the wires in this, and it is very interesting. The only thing is, I feel as if it drags out just a little bit in the middle. They probably could have cut this back by an episode or two, but overall it's still very good, and I recommend anyone who is a Doctor Who fan to check this story out because it is fantastic. Terror of the Zygons. I thought this was alright. This is the last time Harry Sullivan is a companion. Next up we have The Pyramids of Mars. This is one where I think the very first episode is very good, and the villain Sutek is really good idea and really awesome, but I just found the actual story itself kind of boring. But yeah, I think the first episode is great. Everything else I did feel a little bored, to be honest. I have watched this twice, and I'm going to try and watch it a third time just to see if my reaction changes. But yeah, I just couldn't really get into it. Next up we have The Android Invasion. I feel as if this is a story that should have had an episode like extra added on, because I feel as if there's a couple of plot holes in this, and also they could have actually done a little bit more with the idea of the android invasion. But for what we got, it was a pretty good story, and it's a shame really that this is the last time we see Benton in Doctor Who. I'd like to see Benton just like make a small appearance, nothing like huge, in the new Doctor Who series. So this is the last Tom Baker story I have, which is The Invasion of Time, and it's the last appearance of the... Actually, no, sorry, it's the second last appearance of the Sontarans in Classic Who, but I have not watched this story yet. So next up we have Warriors of the Deep. This is the only 5th Doctor story I have, and I haven't watched it yet. So this is the last Sontaran story in Classic Who, and it is the 2 Doctors with Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton, and I have not watched this yet either. So next we go on to Sylvester McCoy's run, aka the 7th Doctor, with Remembrance of the Daleks, absolutely great story. I love this. I think it's in my top five, I think, of the best classic Doctor Who stories. I think it's just great, to be honest with you. Also, there's a small appearance of I can't think of his name, but the actor who played Jeffrey in The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, he actually shows up in this. But yeah, my general thoughts on this story is that it is great, and I recommend anyone to watch it. Next, we have The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I thought this was okay. I think I need to rewatch it. Next up, we have Battlefield, and this is last of Nicholas Courtney's appearance in Doctor Who itself as the Brigadier. Next up, we have the Curse of Fenric, my second favorite Sylvester McCoy story after Remembrance of the Daleks. Curse of Fenric is a pretty good story set in a village where like there's sort of vampires in it. It kind of reminds me of like the old Hammer horror movies. And what I really like about it is the idea of vampires, and it's not like a cross is like deter sends vampires away. It's more of the idea, the faith that's behind like a symbol that actually like puts them away. It's an interesting idea, I think, and I think it's a good one to check out. So the last one in my collection, and the last one in Classic Who, if you don't count the movie from the 90s, is Survival. I think Survival is an okay story. I feel as if I know there was like budget issues with the BBC, and you definitely feel it with this because it feels like the first two episodes have a good pace to them, but then the third episode kind of feels rushed, and it feels like halfway through the third episode I feel like there should have been another episode to make this longer, but instead it feels kind of crammed into the last 10 or 15 minutes. But it's not a bad story. I feel that it's slightly overrated, but that doesn't mean it's a bad story. It's still pretty good, and I recommend checking it out as well. So now I'm just going to show you guys the box sets, which is, first off, we have Mannequin Mania, which contains Spearhead from Space and Terror of the Autons. Good box set, I recommend checking it out. Next up we have the Unit Files, which contains Invasion of the Dinosaurs and the Android Invasion. I have done a video on this, so you can check that out on my channel if you wish, where I just basically roughly go through both the stories. Next up we have Beneath the Surface, which contains Doctor Who and the Silurians, the Sea Devils, and Warriors of the Deep. And the last box set is Bred for War, the Sontaran collection, which contains the Time Warrior, the Sontaran Experiment, the Invasion of Time, and the Two Doctors. This is the most interesting, I think, of the box sets. Sorry. Because this is the only box set where you can actually get the stories individually anyway. So if you just wanted the Time Warrior, you can just get that. All the other box sets I showed, you can't get separately on DVD. Some of them you can with the Monster Collection, but yeah, if you want the classic Doctor Who like cover and style, this is the only one that actually has like the stories where you can get them separate or in this pack. And I'd recommend picking up the pack itself because if you're interested in at least two of the stories in this, it is cheaper to get it like this, because even if you like two of these might be worth like £7 each, so £14, and this box set costs 15. So just pay that extra pound just to try out two different stories that you may not have tried. So as of January 2018, this is my whole classic Doctor Who collection. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am planning on getting more, But as you saw already, I haven't watched like almost half of the stories in my collection, and I do plan on finishing them before I buy any more, which is what I'd recommend to some people, unless you're planning to do like a marathon thing where you like just buy them all and then watch them. But personally, I would recommend just watching them and then buy them, because you'll end up probably with like a load of them and you haven't even watched like any at all, except maybe like one or two, and then you'll be like, oh, I don't want to watch anymore. I would personally recommend, just watch what you have and then buy more. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, it would really help me out. Subscribe, please hit subscribe, because I'd really appreciate it, and I'd really like to continue doing more videos, and I'm going to try to do as many videos as I possibly can, between now and the 20th of February, before YouTube like basically shuts me down from getting anything, because I would like something to just have a little bit of income coming in as I'm looking for a job, because I really want to move out of this place and move into somewhere better, because it is kind of stressful here. But I want to thank you all for watching. I know I'm not like the biggest YouTuber or anything like that, but even if I get like the same like viewer every video and they're the only one watching, I want to thank that one viewer. It's because it's the same, like that one viewer is the same to me as 1,000 viewers on another video, because I'm happy that I'm at least entertaining one person, and I'm really happy that so many people have wanted to see my videos. Like I know I'm barely reaching like the 20s or 30s in terms of my views, not even like hundreds, but like 20 or 30, 10. I'm just like happy that some people are enjoying the videos as well, and hopefully I'll be bringing out more and more videos, and hopefully they'll be better quality, because I'm also working on an animation, trying to improve my chances of getting a job if I create it. Also trying to help out a friend with a game, and yeah, there's a lot going on, and I really want to thank everyone for watching. And with that said, I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.